Hello, Libras, and welcome to this, your January 15th through January 31st reading and predictions. For those of you who are new here, thank you so much for trusting and clicking on this video. And for those of you who are returning, thank you so much for continuing to support this channel. Okay, Libras, please excuse my microphone featuring prominently. I had a couple complaints about the audio last month, so I've moved my microphone. I have a new feature. I believe I had it for you last month as well, or in the last reading that I did for you. Stick around to the very end if you have a question that requires a yes/no answer. At the very end, I will pull cards for your yes/no questions. So stick around to the end. I do not edit my videos. What you see is what you get. If I stumble over my words, if cards flip out of my hands and I go flying, oh well. I expect authenticity when I seek out a psychic reading from someone else or a tarot reading, and so I put authenticity out there in my videos as well. Libra. The last reading that I did for you, covering the time frame from January 1st through January 15th, there were a whole bunch of double cards that came in for you. Go ahead and review that if you have not seen that video. But when we get a bunch of double cards coming up, it is double reinforcement of the energies behind those cards. There was also an indication, I'm just checking my notes here. Let me see. Oh, of a possible new partnership. Libra, did that come to fruition? Let me know in the comments down below. All right. Where are we going for your first cards? We're going to go here to the Everyday Witch, and we're going to start, and it's okay. I've got cards flipping out all over the place. So what we're going to end up doing is picking up some of these crazy cards that came flipping out and mixing those up to narrow down your cards. Because you got a lot of cards here. All right. Where are the Libras coming to us now? From what's going on with Libra right now? Okay, let's take a look. You have the moon card coming in for us. Now, the moon card has quite a number of meanings. One of the meanings of the moon card is for us to pay attention to the cycles and phases that we are currently going through. All of us go through cycles and phases every single day, every single week, every single month, and every single year. Where are you at in your phase or cycle? I do want to point out that for many people who have been journaling for a long period of time, many years, they will go back over old journals and they will begin to see that not only do they have a cycle that goes through each week or each month, they also have an annual cycle. And there are certain times of the year when they're more motivated and they're raring to go and they want to go out and get everything done. And they just feel like the world is at their fingertips and they just want to go and get things done. And then other times of the year, they feel like they just want to sit back, chill, and coast. So Libra, at this time here in the middle of January, you are being called upon to pay attention to where you are at in your certain cycles or phases. This can also go for females with regards to your menstrual cycle. Pay attention to where you're at. Begin to chart that, because for many women as well who chart their cycles, they will notice that on certain days of the month during their cycle, they are extremely motivated, and on other days of the month, they are not motivated at all. And when we begin to pay attention to these cycles, all of a sudden we can make them work for us. For example, for women in particular, but men as well. If men decide to pay attention, men have cycles as well, but they're not quite as in your face forefront as women's. But getting back to this, so women, pay attention, chart your cycle for 3 months. Oh, I'm feeling really motivated today. Oh, I didn't feel like even getting off the couch today. I just wanted to sit around and eat Ben and Jerry's and watch Netflix. Pay attention to your cycle for 3 months and then put that in your calendar. And when your boss puts a deadline 2 days after your I want to sit on the couch and eat Ben and Jerry's days, you might want to say to him, hey, can we move that forward or move that deadline back so that it works more with my cycle? Because I'm going to be super motivated to get a whole bunch of stuff done around the 15th or the 16th of the month. But by the 19th, I'm just not going to be feeling it anymore. Work with your natural cycles and rhythms. This also goes to your circadian rhythm. Pay attention to your sleep cycle right now, Libra. It's extremely important that you do so. Okay. Now, the other thing that the moon brings up for us is shadows. Shadows. This is an invitation, Libra, for you to do some shadow work. Now, a lot of people shy away from shadow work. They think that it's big and scary and not. Okay, it's not fun. Let's face it, shadow work's not fun. But it's not as big and scary as some people have made it out to be. Let me give you an example. Do you sometimes feel as though you're triggered by someone? Someone really, really bothers you. Explore that. Why does their sense of entitlement, for example, why does someone else's sense of entitlement trigger you into disliking them, trigger you into impatience, trigger you into possible jealousy? Why? Because that's one of your shadows. So, Libra, do a little bit of that kind of exploration as you're also exploring your cycles. And it's going to open up some new and interesting foresight for you in the coming days and weeks. Let's move into what you are focusing on going through the latter half of January. What are the Libras focusing on? I do want to comment as well. Oh, there we go. I do want to comment as well, Libra, that in late 2023, you had a number of readings in a row where you had some tower moments, you had some big changes and shifts, huge changes and shifts that came up for you. And in so doing, there was this huge spiritual growth that happened for many of you, Libra. And this moon card coming out for you now is an invitation for you to again expand upon your spiritual growth. We cannot expand on our spiritual growth if we're walking around pretending like we don't have any shadows. Just saying. What are you focusing on? Playfulness. Yay! I like this card. So, this card is about playfulness. It's about bringing some naivety into what we are doing for the latter half of January. It's about looking at things through the eyes of a child. If you've ever noticed, a child gets super excited when they get to go and do new things, when they get to have new experiences. They get bright eyes, their eyes sparkle, they can hardly contain their anticipation and their excitement. Bring some of that into your life, Libra. All right, let's look at what your shadows, challenges, difficult influences are for the latter half of January. I'm getting called back to the Osho Zen deck for this one. Oh, apparently you have no challenges this month. Wouldn't that be nice? Well, we'll go through the deck again. Challenges and difficult influences for Libra. All right, that one came out fairly quickly. So, anything else? I don't think so. I think that's it. Okay, so this time we ended up with 2 cards in your challenges. Let's turn them over. Both of these cards are part of the major arcana. You have the awareness card and you have the conditioning card in your difficult influences. Now, the awareness card, I'm going to go back to this card. This was the moon card. This was a card calling you towards doing some shadow work, paying attention to your cycles, but also paying attention to shadows. This card is similar. You can take a good look at this, and what you will notice is that there is a shadow here, but from this shadow, there is an emerging figure. Okay. This card is more talking, the moon card is more talking about or speaking about actual shadow work. And this card is more speaking about be aware of what it is that you are putting out into the world, what perceptions you are leaving out there. Okay. Now, this came up in your difficult influences. What is that telling me? Well, it's telling me that sometimes what you're putting out into the world, you're not fully aware of. When we have awareness of self, Libra, then we can figure out why we're getting certain reactions from certain people. I'm hoping that that's making sense. So, a lot of us walk through life, and if somebody doesn't like us, sometimes we can't figure out why. Okay. This awareness card, when you have more awareness of self, you may be able to pinpoint exactly why someone doesn't like you or exactly why someone does like you. It means that you are more aware of what you're putting out into the world. So, this is something for you to concentrate on during the latter half of January. And the other card that you have here is the conditioning card. Now, this card has the number 15 on it from the Major Arcana. This card corresponds to the devil. What does the devil bring into our lives? The devil brings in ego. Nobody likes the ego. Uh, the devil brings in ego, but it also brings in our conditioning. It brings in why do we do what we do, especially when we are doing certain things unconsciously. Again, having greater awareness of what we are doing and when we are doing it. And this card is a deeper exploration of what we're doing, why we're doing it. It has to do with our conditioning. So explore that deeply. This is in your difficult influences, indicating that this particular exploration of your shadows is not necessarily going to be easy, Libra. However, having said that, sometimes the most difficult lessons are the most rewarding when we get out the other side. No, we're going to go to messages that the universe wants you to hear at this time, and then we're going to go back over to that fairy deck. Yeah. So, messages that the universe wants you to hear at this time. We do have one message that's jumped out. Is there any other messages for Libra? Yep. Another one. Okay. All right. So, the last thing that I said to you before I pulled these cards was coming up in your difficult influences is you digging into your own self-awareness, as well as digging into shadow work, as well as digging into ego work, seeing what you're putting out into the world and bringing a greater awareness into your being. And the last thing I said to you was, this is not always easy work, but the rewards are always beneficial. And the message that the universe wants you to hear at this time is focus on the positive, right? Focus on the outcome, knowing full well that once you get through this difficult time, once you explore and do some shadow work, there are definitely benefits on the other side. Focus on that as you're going through some of these challenges that are coming up. And again, you're focusing on playfulness. This is your focus for the latter half of January. And your message from the universe is focus on the positive. So, despite the fact that this side of your reading is showing some shadow work and ego work and so on, you're actually still in this really positive mindset of, well, I'm going to continue to focus on the positive. And the other card that you have here is express your feelings. Now, when we are doing a lot of this deep shadow work, this inner work, this awareness work, we sometimes don't want to express our feelings, especially, I'm going to go there again, especially females, women. We have been conditioned that we're not allowed to express anger. We have been conditioned that we should sit quietly in the corner and be very demure and just flick our eyes at people. I couldn't be any further from the truth. Now, when it comes to expressing your feelings, Libra, this doesn't mean that an explosive, jealous, angry outburst is going to be appropriate. But sitting in the corner, stewing in your own emotions is also not appropriate. Find a healthy outlet for your emotions going through the latter half of January. And let's go into your unexpected. Unexpected. Oh, the fairies are at it again. They've done this almost every single reading in the new year. They are jumping all over the place. 10, 20 cards comes out instead of 1 or 2 cards. I'm just laughing because I'm just having fun with the fairies. They're just being so mischievous, which is not uncommon for fairies. All right. Yep, there's a few more that fell off the pile. All right. All right. So for your unexpected, at this point in time, I have about 20 cards out. I am going to collect these cards up. They are all face down, so I have no idea what any of them are saying. Get them all facing the right way. I don't like to start with upside down cards. All right. Fairies, 1 or 2 cards to show what is unexpected for Libra for the latter half of January, please. Mix you guys up. All right. Okay, come on, fairies. Now you don't want to have any cards come up because you're insulted because I didn't take all of these cards as Libra's unexpected. There we go. Is there anything else? We're going to go through the deck 2 more times. Anything else for Libra for unexpected? Yeah, because those cards don't want to go back in either. All right, so the card that jumped out for you, Libra, for your unexpected is the Eight of Autumn, also known as the Eight of Pentacles. And this is a card of do your research before proceeding. This may involve taking some courses or seminars in relation to this other work that you're being called towards. Take a seminar, learn more about shadow work, learn more about the conditioning that you are currently experiencing, and find support to help you through this. You have the Three of Winter here, indicating that the work that you are about to do is close to your heart. It is going to be emotional work. Not that that's a bad thing, like I said. When we come out the other side, we focus on the positive, and it is usually a beautiful experience. But when we're in the throes of it, the Three of Winter can be uncomfortable. It is about an emotional experience. And again, the other message of the Three of Winter, I'm going to read this to you. Reach out to others for comfort and love, as well as support. And you also have the card of the Eight of Autumn. These two cards came out right next to each other, and both cards are indicating reach out for help and support from others, Libra. There is no shame in doing that. However, you may have been conditioned that you need to go this alone. You don't. So again, this reading time and time and time and time again comes back to this devil card and your conditioning about why you are doing what you are doing, the way that you are doing certain things. You have the Four of Autumn coming out in your unexpected. The Four of Autumn is also known as the Four of Pentacles. This is the card of make sure that your budget is balanced, make sure that you have less going out than what you have coming in. But this is also the card that I like to call the coveting card. Okay. This is the card of looking across the fence and comparing your life to someone else's and thinking that theirs is better. This has become a huge issue since social media came about because all of us are able to post photoshopped pictures and videos of our amazing lives. And really what goes on behind the scenes is seldom as beautiful as what gets posted. And yet people are getting this twisted idea in their head. Oh, everybody else's life is so much better than mine. Don't be comparing your life to other people's lives at this time. Okay. Sorry, I don't know whether my microphone's picking that up. There's extreme wind where I currently am as I'm recording this video, and some of the parts of the RV are banging and slamming around. Now, you had this card last month, and you have it again this month, Libra. This is the Hermit card. This is the card, a call to withdraw from society temporarily, from time to time, go deep within, meditate, journal. We had talked about journaling all the way back here at this moon card so that you can track your cycles and phases. And I'm not just talking about female cycles and phases. I'm talking about in general, how do I feel under this phase of the moon? How do I feel at the beginning of the month versus the end of the month? How do I feel in the middle of the month? All of these things, when you begin to track that and then you live your life within the phases of your own natural rhythms, magic happens there. So spend some time in the hermit energy, the withdrawn energy for the purposes. There is a fly. There's a fly on the card. For the purposes of really, really tapping in deeply to, again, here we go, your conditioning, phases, and your awareness. Okay. Final general overall outcome. I'm getting called to the Osho Zen again. Interesting. Final general overall outcome, and then we're going to get to your yes/no question. Libra. All right. Final general overall outcome for the Libras. Oh, you have the Three of Swords again. The Three of Winter, here in your unexpected. This is about dealing with something that's very emotional, letting go of something that's emotional, but also asking for help and support from others. You have the Three of Swords here again. This card is represented in the Osho Zen as the isolation card. It does still correspond to the same meaning that you need when you are most feeling isolated and you are dealing with emotional issues. That is the best time to reach out to others. Also, I want to point this out. This card shows the character on the card as being frozen, but the character is crying golden tears. And as he cries those golden tears, they begin to melt all of the ice and the isolation that he is experiencing. Now, you do have another card in your reading, Libra. Express your feelings. Because when you have an opportunity to express your feelings in with all of this support that you're being called towards. Okay, you're being called to seek out support. When you express your feelings, you're going to be able to melt the isolation. What else do we have here? We have the trust card. Trust in the process, Libra. It's not always going to be easy, but it is going to be worth it. Focus on the positive and the playfulness. You have the creativity card coming in here. The creativity card corresponds to the Empress. The Empress is the character who is full of creativity and is on the verge of birthing something new out into the world. This is an indication that you are on the verge of leveling up again, Libra, but you need to do this other work first. And finally, you have the Eight of Wands. The Eight of Wands corresponds to the traveling card. It is the action card. It's the card of that may indicate both astral travel as well as physical travel. It may indicate a geographical change coming up for you. This could look like getting away for a weekend. It could look like a retreat for some of this seminar and help that you're looking for and support that you're looking for, Libra. So be on the lookout for that. I'm going to leave off your reading here, and we're going to dive into your question. I do have my deck all ready to go. So ask your question that you would like to have a yes/no answer to. You may wish to close your eyes and quietly ask your question several times in your mind as I'm shuffling. We need an answer, yes or no, for Libra. All right, well, that's not going to work for this particular deck. We had half the deck fall out. Yes or no for Libra. There we go. We have one card and it's jumped out. I cannot see it. It landed face down. Ready? Libra. In response to your question, your answer is listen to your intuition. Okay. Libras, thank you very much for being here. If this video resonated deeply for you, please consider hitting that like button and subscribing to the channel so you'll receive notifications the next time I post, which will be at the very end of January for your February readings. And as always, I am available for private consultations, so if this resonated deeply, check the links in the description below for all of my contact. Thank you so much.